Welcome back to episode 3 of The Uninhabitable. Now, today's topic will be about policies and how we can enact policies to combat climate change. Um, Majority of the solutions that I've talked about beforehand about infrastructure, about how we can use infrastructure, well, that comes back to that and other parts. We just come back to one thing: policies. If governments don't take action against climate change, there's nothing being done. A major part of the solution of climate change itself is policies. Now, with policies, we can make centralized plans how to combat climate change. So basically, the world gets together and say, what should we do? A perfect example of this, what we've done in the past, is the Paris Agreement, where every country decided how much they decided that they would remove these kind of chemicals that are more prone to affecting the climate. And then this will also be open as more people will know about this. It will provide businesses and people to know what to expect with these new policies, as it is one singular plan structure. Um, and also, like, we can target what areas need the most infrastructure, what areas needs to be more focused upon, what part of the world. So let's say like North Africa, especially near the Sahara Desert, Iran, or Pakistan, for example. My home country, Pakistan, since I what do you call it? We can see that it needs drainage systems, and so like a policy would be like building in areas that are prone to rain. So like Sindh, uh, KPK, and also Balochistan, because these three countries again are also the more poor areas of Pakistan. That's why they're more affected by these rains. With that, we can basically mitigate the losses that we have incurred. As I said in my first episode, the big losses that it went through by just building infrastructure. Um, and also, Pakistan also goes through droughts, and we can use these drainage systems and connect them to, let's say, like another water plant that could basically purify the water. And then with that water, it can be used again it can be stored and then used during the drought season. But again, but the biggest problem with policies, it's not of what to do, is how to do it, as policies take a long time. You got passed through the parliament, you have to find the funding for it, it takes a long time. And also, we also have to get scientists, have to get scientists, engineers, architects, also we have to be involved, because they need to know how we make this within the budget. So they don't want to go overboard, which again takes a long process. They have to get the permits, they have to see will it work, they have to do experiments on it, just to make sure they don't just put it and, well, it just breaks and now this is lost on billions of dollars. Now, what I'm basically trying to say is that, like, they have to make workable policies. They can't just say like, oh, make cars illegal, like that won't work. Everybody needs car. I also commute, so like I need the car. So they would also need to convince the public and make plans that could be implemented, especially in third world countries, because third world countries are again the more affected by these. A perfect example would be like, actually, like, one of the main reasons why it won't work is lobbying. As we all know how lobbying works, the companies would want good profit margins, and environmental policies will limit them, because they would need to slow down, or either by, what do you call it, make let's say like filters for, like, let's say factories. They will need to make filters so they don't produce. They'll lower down the profit margins, and so they'll just lobby them. Now, in first world countries, lobbying, I mean, just because they get lobbied doesn't mean like it won't go through, because they can just work against they're not basically bought up by the companies. But in third world countries, that's where the majority of the problems begin, because, well, you can just pay them. Like, as harsh as that sounds to say that, oh, you can just pay them, you can't just pay them. You can just go to a politician and be like, here's $1 million. I don't want this to go through. They'd be like, okay, yeah, it won't go through. And the reason why, this is why I want a centralized plan, not like every country does their own thing. Because of that, basically, like the UN, as we know, UN also works in a lot of other cases. They could build like an environmental, as we did with Paris Agreement, to be more stricter on these countries, so they can pass these policies that in fact will help their people. Now, That's the reason of policies. Now, with these policies being passed, it'll be great for the country, especially the rural countries. But again, this is a long process, and if you guys would like to contribute,
What is corruption and how does it affect you? Corruption is the abuse of public office for private gains. It can include taking bribes to award large public contracts, giving relatives government jobs, influencing courts to rule in your favor, and even helping a friend skip the line to obtain a public service. Corruption is not only a waste of public resources, but it also has many other dangerous consequences. A bridge built poorly by an unqualified firm that paid a bribe to get the contract can collapse, injuring or even killing people. Inexperienced public officials in charge of important services like a hospital can result in poor health care for vulnerable patients.